Margaret Walker was a woman of extraordinary strength and resilience. Standing at 5'6" with deep brown skin and tired yet warm eyes, she carried the weight of her family on her shoulders. Margaret had 3 children: Tina, who was 16, Darren, who was 12, and little Mia, only 7 years old. They lived in a small rented apartment in the heart of Atlanta. Life had never been easy for Margaret, but she worked tirelessly, determined to give her kids a better future than she'd ever had. Every morning, Margaret woke up at 4:30 a.m. The world outside was still wrapped in silence, the streets dimly lit by flickering streetlights. She'd tiptoe around the apartment, careful not to wake the kids, and start preparing breakfast. Oatmeal and toast most days because it was affordable. Margaret worked 2 jobs, a morning shift at a diner and an evening shift cleaning offices downtown. Her hands were calloused from scrubbing floors, her back ached from hours spent standing, and her heart ached even more when she thought about all the moments she was missing with her children. But Margaret never complained. She believed that hard work would eventually pay off. Tina, the eldest, had started showing signs of teenage rebellion. She spent most of her time in her room with her phone, rolling her eyes whenever Margaret asked her to help around the house. Darren, on the other hand, was quieter. He loved drawing, but often felt overlooked because Margaret was so busy. Mia was a bundle of energy, always eager for her mother's attention, but Margaret rarely had time to play with her. "Mom, why don't we ever go out like other families?" Mia asked one evening, her big brown eyes full of curiosity. Margaret knelt down and hugged her tightly. "One day, baby, when things get better." She hoped her words were enough, but deep down, she wondered if things ever would. Margaret rarely bought anything for herself. Her shoes had holes, her clothes were faded, and she couldn't even remember the last time she had a proper meal. Every penny she earned went toward rent, bills, and groceries. When Tina asked for a new phone for her birthday, Margaret worked extra shifts to save up for it, even though it meant cutting back on her own meals. Despite all this, her efforts often went unnoticed. Tina complained that the phone wasn't the latest model. Darren muttered that no one cared about his drawings, and Mia cried when Margaret couldn't make it to her school play because of work. Margaret felt invisible in her own home. She wanted to scream, to tell her kids how hard she was trying, but she swallowed her pain and kept going. One evening, Margaret came home late. She was soaked from the rain, her feet sore, and her stomach empty. As she opened the door, she saw Tina lounging on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Darren was at the kitchen table, his sketch pad in front of him, and Mia was asleep on the floor, with her toys scattered around. "Tina, why didn't you put Mia to bed?" Margaret asked, her voice tired but firm. Tina shrugged. "I was busy." Margaret sighed and picked Mia up, carrying her to bed. She kissed her daughter's forehead and whispered, "Good night, my little angel." As she walked back into the living room, she noticed one of Darren's drawings on the table. It was a picture of a woman, bent over with a mop in one hand and a bag of groceries in the other. Darren had drawn dark circles under her eyes and a small smile on her lips. "Is this me?" Margaret asked softly. Darren looked up, startled. "Yeah, Mom, it's you. You're like a superhero, but you look sad." Margaret's heart broke. She realized that while her children didn't always show it, they noticed her struggles more than she thought. The next morning, Margaret sat her children down at the table. She took a deep breath and said, "I know I've been working a lot, and I'm sorry if it feels like I'm not around, but everything I do for you." Tina looked away, guilt written all over her face. Darren fiddled with his pencil, and Mia climbed onto Margaret's lap. "I miss you, Mommy," Mia said. Margaret hugged her tightly. "I miss you too, sweetheart." Tina finally spoke up. "I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't realize how hard you were working. I'll try to help more." Margaret smiled through her tears. It wasn't much, but it was a start. From that day on, things began to change. Tina started helping around the house, cooking dinner when Margaret was at work. Darren shared his drawings with his mom, who always made time to admire them, even if it was just a few minutes before bed. and Margaret made an effort to attend at least one of Mia's school events each month, even if it meant losing a few hours of sleep. Life was still hard, but Margaret no longer felt invisible. Her children's small acts of gratitude reminded her that her sacrifices were not in vain. Years later, when Tina became a nurse, Darren an artist, and Mia a teacher, they often looked back on those tough times. They realized that their mother's hard work and sacrifices had shaped them into the people they were. Margaret never sought recognition, but in the hearts of her children, she was a hero. And that's the story, guys. I hope you enjoyed this journey as much as I did in creating it. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new adventure. And if you really loved it, share this story with your friends and family. Let's spread the word together. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep exploring. Hope to see you soon. Bye.